Hey, welcome James, welcome Patrick. We'll get started here in just a minute. Thank you for joining me. Hey Patrick, good to see you. Welcome James, hey there, good to see you.
Good to be here.
All right, we'll get going here in just a minute. We'll just let people jump in here. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope your week is off to a good start. What's up, Richard, my man? How are you? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Cool. All right. Well, you guys know, well, at least some of you know the routine on these calls. There is no training agenda. It's purely responding to any questions that you have, anything that you need help with. So please, if you have something, go ahead and type it in. And we will address them here as we go through and just knock them out. Yeah, Richard, I was just in that too, the Tony Robbins Comeback Challenge. I think everybody should be in that. Whether you feel like you need to come back from anything or not, it's just great training. Always awesome to get inside his head and learn from him. Daniel Teresa, welcome. All right, cool. We will let people keep on coming in here. I'm going to start us off with a couple of questions that got sent to me, so we can kick things off. And then if you guys have questions, just go ahead and type them in, and we'll get to those next. So let's see here. First one today actually was pretty cool. I hope that I can help this gentleman, because he is police officer in Colorado and trying to get started and in an agency business and looking for some help with how to do that. He wants to get out of police work here over time and have his own business. He actually owned his own Domino's pizza franchises, I guess, for a while, and went into the police work and is now working to get back into the entrepreneurship world and is interested in doing something in the agency business. What's up, Robert Swanson? Thank you for joining us. Who's looking to get into the agency business. So he had some questions that are really important, certainly for anybody who's thinking about starting in this business part-time. And so I wanted to address that. So first thing is, if you are looking at getting started in the agency business on a part-time basis, I just really want to make it super clear that anybody who's considering that realizes that, my services that scale philosophy of getting into the marketing services business instead of the agency business is absolutely critical for your success. Okay. If you're going to be in the agency business where you have clients, it is very hard to do that while you have any other career going on, because they're going to want your time. They're going to want your attention. You're going to need to be in meetings with them and things like that. That's the nature of a client services business, which is what really an agency is still. It's a client services business. Versus being in a marketing services business. That's just a minor distinction here, but it's the difference between customers versus clients, okay? And customers are businesses that you can provide a service to where it's not customized. There is no client services hand-holding, okay? On the far extreme of this is a software tool, a MailChimp. A MailChimp is providing a marketing service to small businesses, but it's in the form of a software tool. Okay, you're not getting on the phone with anybody at MailChimp and talking to them about how to create custom campaigns for your business. On the far other end of that spectrum is an agency where you're doing customized work for them. It's a professional service, and you are advising them, and you are spending time with them, and getting on the phone with them, and having meetings with them, and things like that. You can't do that and be a police officer at the same time, okay? It would just be very difficult. So you've got to approach this as more of a productized business where you are selling something that is going to get you customers, and they're not expecting to be able to get on the phone with you in the middle of the day and talk to you for a couple hours about, their business strategy or their marketing strategy. So making sure that you offer products that are largely, based on automation, based on technology, or something like content where you deliver it and then, the job is done. Like you deliver them their 4 blog posts each month or their newsletter each month, whatever it is, that allows you to produce that product on nights or weekends or by outsourcing it to somebody else and letting them actually produce the work. That's the only way you're going to be successful if you're doing something if you're still doing a full-time job. That is the only way. Likewise, you've got to make sure that you've got a very, very automated sales process. Again, Matt in his police work is not going to be able to just jump out of whatever he's doing in the middle of the day to do a sales call. So you've got to have an online automated sales process that allows you to bring in those prospects and convert them, which means that you're going to have lower price points. Everything has to be designed around that getting a customer instead of a client. Okay. So that is the most important thing that he can understand from day one in going after this to make sure that he has a chance at success. The other thing that he was asking about was how does he choose a niche, which is probably the most common question that I get from people, looking to sell to small businesses is how do I choose a niche to go after? And just to give a little bit of feedback on that, first and most important thing is that you realize that there is no magic niche. Okay, there's no niche that you're going to pick that somebody, nobody else has thought of yet, nobody else has discovered yet, that is going to be this incredibly lucrative niche that, money's just going to come rolling in. They've all been thought of. There's somebody servicing all of them. There's competition in all of them. There's pros and cons to all of them. And selling to small businesses is still going to be a challenge no matter which niche that you're selling to. So there is no magic niche. Get that out of your head. If you're thinking that you're going to find that surprise winner that nobody else has thought of. And then the guidance that I give on this is the same guidance I've given for years. Make sure that you're choosing a niche that's big enough that it's healthy, right? You want a big, healthy niche. Signs of that are there industry associations? Are there trade shows? Are there 20,000 people in this niche flying to Vegas once a year for some big industry conference? Like that's a sign of a healthy industry where there's people making enough money that you have a chance to really build, a significant business there. Is there a way for you to reach them? So are there established channels that you can market to them? And again, industry trade shows is a good example. Industry newsletters is a great example. Now, of course, you can target most industries on ads, on LinkedIn or Facebook, so you can use that as a channel. But you just want to make sure that you've got a way to reach them, somebody else that has already gathered up that audience that you can just pay to get access to so that you don't have to do manual one-by-one sales and marketing to try and reach that audience. Is the audience something where other people are already having a success? Is the niche a market where other people are already having success? Okay. I don't want you to find a niche that you think that nobody else has discovered and you can't find anybody else making money. That's a bad sign. Okay. People have been selling to small businesses for long enough now that if you can't find somebody in that niche making money and doing well, it's probably not a great opportunity. And then finally, it's really, really important. Is this a business that you think that you could personally enjoy serving that niche for the next 5, 7, 10 years? Okay. If you have success in this business, you're going to be in this business for a while. Okay. 5 years, 7 years, 10 years before you sell it. Those are all like reasonable numbers. If you sell it, if that's even your goal. So is this an audience that you can enjoy working with for the long term and stay excited about continuing to learn and get better on their behalf, right? For me, I love restaurants. I love bars. I love that whole community. So I could continue working and developing, content and services and strategies to help them and have a great time doing it. If I was servicing the dental niche, honestly, I would probably get really bored with that within a year and I would have to find somebody else to take care of things for me because I would just burn out and get distracted. So I know this because in the IT services industry that I built and sold a successful business and sold it, by the time like year 6, year 7 had come around, I was bored. I had entrepreneurial ADD. IT was not interesting to me at all. And so continuing to try and innovate in that space for me as the entrepreneur, it was not, something that was interesting and exciting to me anymore. And that's important when you're an entrepreneur. You've got to be engaged. You got to have your whole head in it, or else your business will suffer. So you want to make sure that whoever it is that you're planning on servicing today, you're excited enough about that market that you want to get out of bed and help them every day. Okay. That's critical. So Matt, if you get a chance to watch this replay, because I don't think you're here on with us live, if you get a chance to watch this replay, I definitely wish you the best of luck. And would love to hear the updates and anything I can do to help you out. All right, let's see here. James says, I'm kicking off a small group coaching program next week. How to launch a podcast in 30 days. That's awesome. I have 2 people registered. Fastest way to get a few more. Referrals or ask a group admin to share ads. I've set up my landing page in Thrivecart. Cool, let me just check it out, James. So, oh, that's awesome. I love it. Nice job. I like it, James. This is cool. So I think, one, this is a great offer. Like the opportunity in this space is awesome. Podcasts are just exploding, and people have challenges with how to create a podcast, right? So I think it's a great offer, great opportunity. In terms of the fastest way to get more people, the fastest way is ads. If you can put the right message together and you know how to run ad campaigns, the fastest way is ads. The Facebook advertising platform, the LinkedIn advertising platform, those are like miracles for us as entrepreneurs, right? I can fire up an ad, I can target somebody, across the planet and almost laser target those ads for $10 and have them see that ad, 5 minutes later. It really is unbelievable. So that is the fastest and most predictable. You've got to make an investment of dollars to do it. So you just got to accept that there's a learning curve to that, and you may not get it right, the first several times you do it, but you've got to look at it as an investment. But I would absolutely say, yeah, if you can find some Facebook groups, if you could find some influencers in the whole podcast space, or even just influencers like in the marketing space that would be willing to share your link and, give them an affiliate commission, James, right? That's the proven model in this space. If you were to give people a 50% commission on that, you'll have a lot of people that will happily share that for you. Any of those strategies will work. Certainly if you are asking people to share for you and you can give them an affiliate commission, you're going to get a lot, more traction. But if you're just trying to get, one group to share it with you and you just want to try and get a few more people registered just to kind of get your legs underneath you on this, you can just poke around and find somebody that will let you post it in their group, or that they'll post it for you and put their name behind it a little bit. But again, ads, fastest, most predictable, most reliable. Second to that, affiliate marketing is hard to beat. Jimmy says, for anyone in the restaurant and hospitality industry niche, I have some slide presentations from their virtual conference that I just got off of. Cool. Yeah, Jimmy, and also the other Jimmy, we've got some great restaurant experience in this marketplace. So you guys should absolutely collaborate and help each other out. Kathleen, cool. Let's see here. So James says, yeah, just trying to get a beta group through. Yeah, James. So, still running ads, still affiliate, but certainly if you can just get a small group to share your link, you'll probably sign on a couple more people. And then of course, James, create your own Facebook group, right? That's really, the best way is to control this by having your own Facebook group. So you can very easily start a Facebook group that is, getting started in podcasting and invite people into that, run some ads to it, right? It's a very, very proven model. Then you can be communicating with them, hey, here's what I'm learning as I'm creating my podcast. And then that sets the stage perfectly for, I'm running a workshop to share everything that I've learned and help you get started too. Okay. Teresa. Hi, Teresa. So it says, Mike, local newsletter strategy. In my opt-in form, I ask for email and phone number, but the phone number is not required. If I'm asking for them in the same form, how can I check for the phone number? I'm trying to figure out how to tag them if they give a phone number. My solution so far is to ask for the phone number in a separate form and set up a trigger if that form is submitted. I ask for it on the thank you page as a pop-up. Any better suggestions? Teresa, are you just using Highlevel for this whole process, or do you have ConvertBox by chance? And feel free to unmute yourself if you want to chat. Or okay, Highlevel only. Let's see here. So with Highlevel, I'm going to have to think about the right way to do that, but I think it's just a two-step form. So in ConvertBox, I know that you can do that for sure. You can have the multi-step forms, and then based on what they submit each step of the way, it will tag them differently. I think that you can do that in Highlevel as well, Teresa, and I think it would be just a multi-step form. So in the first form, you get their name and you get their email, and then on the second step, you would ask for the phone number optionally, and then give them the option to skip that. But if they put in the number there, I think that you can then tag them as having done that. But then the other thing I'm just trying to think is, Teresa, what is the, would you mind unmuting yourself and then tell me what is the point of, what is the point of doing this exactly? Because let's say you create the lead, okay, and you've got their name and their email. If you don't have their phone number, what is it that you're then trying to do
right
with Highlevel based on that information? Why do you need to tag them as not having their phone number?
Well, I'm trying to give them an option to get the newsletter delivered in a text as well as email. That's the goal. So I've set up a trigger on the form where I get their email, but that's the only trigger I can figure out to use to tag them. But if they don't fill in the phone number, I don't know where to look to see if I can tag them.
Hold on one second. Let me hop into Highlevel and see if I can figure this out quickly for you here.
Everything else done. This is like the last little piece.
Yeah. So let me just figure out real quick. I think that the way that you want to do this is if I go over here to triggers, the new basic rule. Oh, there's all the membership triggers. Let's see here. Form submitted, add filter. Form is. So, all right, let me go back here real quick to the form builder. Oops. And do create new form.
Let's figure out so far to have two separate forms. But
yeah, so I think that is what you're gonna do. I think that, so if I do full name and email on this one, and then I do, yeah, I think that, so this is form 20, and I do a campaign based on, oops, sorry. So I think that from FLM tags. So I'm gonna have to play with a little bit, Teresa, but I think that what can happen is that if you do the multi-step form, right, then on that second one, what you'll be able to do is do a trigger that says, you know, if they don't submit that form, but I'm just trying to see here because you can do, obviously here, if the form is submitted, but if the form isn't submitted, so they just skip it, I think what you would do is you would have a trigger link for the skip it button, and that skip it would tell you, okay, I didn't get their phone number. And so that could then add them to a campaign where it says, hey, you didn't give me your phone number. Here's why you want my phone number, and here are the benefits and all that stuff. The other way is that you could just trigger campaigns based on the fact that you don't have their phone number, right, on a regular basis. So you could essentially just have a campaign that's like an if-then campaign that says, start this campaign, and then if they don't have a phone number, right, send them this message. Because you have the phone number is just a standard field in Highlevel. So you just be able to say, is that field filled out, right? And if not, yeah, then you would just add them to a campaign. That makes sense? So I have to play with it to figure out exactly, but it would be something like that. It's one or both of those kind of scenarios. The cool thing about custom values and trigger links and things like that in Highlevel is that essentially you could do anything, right? Because you can say this button is a custom trigger link, and so based on that trigger link, fire these behaviors. Right? Run this campaign. So theoretically, if you presented them with an option to submit their phone number and they clicked on the no thanks button, that could be a trigger link that then fires whatever you want to have happen. But then there's also, so I think the other thing that you want to make sure that you solve, because like right now in my database, I have 10,000 contacts probably that I don't have their phone numbers. What I could do is just kick off a regular campaign sequence that tries to capture their phone number, right? That just regularly goes out to them and says, hey, I don't have your phone number. Because I don't have your phone number, you're missing out on these X things. Please go over here right now and fill out your phone number, and then have that form collect their phone number so that, I can trigger that campaign just based on the fact that their phone number value is empty in Highlevel. Cool? Awesome. Yeah, the fun thing about Highlevel is that it's got so much built into it that is done for you. It's already established, but in the same way, it's like a complete blank canvas. Like you can get in there, and because of the automation triggers and stuff, you can kind of do whatever you want with it. All right, let's see here. Sunny says, question to get clarity on applying 5F and stage of awareness to one ecom product type. I'm using the abbreviated KISS template frame. If I have only one product, how long should the frame sequence be? Suspects are aware of solution, and I'm just offering a custom design. That's cool. So, Sunny, I would assume that the product that you're talking about has has like a low price point, a super low price point. I would be, and I'm assuming that the just also the decision around it, since it's an e-com product, is probably very fast. So I would make this, yeah, under 20 bucks. So I would do two things, Sonny. So one, if somebody has gotten to the point where they're actually like, you know, a prospect, you know, they've made it to a sales page or an order page or anything like that, I would be very, very direct about making sure that everything that you're putting in front of them is a sales pitch. Now, that sales pitch can be, you know, a frame type message, like here are your questions, you know, here are the most common questions about this product. But making sure it's definitely got a sales pitch associated with it. You know, I've answered your questions, now click here and buy the dang thing. And I would have that be over a very condensed period of time, because it is a fast decision-making process. So, you know, maybe it's just like over the course of a week, you're just hitting them with all kinds of ads in a very condensed period of time. So I would take that blitzkrieg approach that I have, and I would just put all kinds of messages at them. Here are your frequently asked questions. Here's examples of the things you can do with the product. Here's the product being demonstrated. You know, here's your coupon code. Like, hit them with everything over a short period of time. So maybe like a week, okay? And then the actual, you know, frame campaign where you're really trying to keep in touch with them and build relationship value with them over time. In an e-com business like this, if you only have one product, I would just be like every once in a while, like every 30 days, just making sure I'm showing back up for a few days with some good direct response ads again. I'm not going to invest too much in branding style campaigns or anything like that. If they didn't buy in that first 7 days, I would just like, again, like every 30 days, just kind of pop up again in front of them with the offer again, right? Like show the offer again and just do it for a handful of days again, drop off, pop back up 30 days later. Like, you just want to just keep showing up in front of them so that if they get to the point where they want to buy, that they're aware of your product and they're there. Really, really hard. I got to tell you, there's something really hard to do with a single product. It's really hard to make an e-commerce business work in a single product business like that. So you're going to want to make sure that everybody that comes to that offer, you're doing everything that you can to get it to convert in that first handful of days. And if it doesn't, you're not going to be able to afford to spend a lot of money, you know, after that on nurturing them. It's not a high enough, you know, value product or customer if you're just selling that one product, unless I'm misunderstanding, unless this product is like a recurring, you know, thing that they're going to buy this every month, like it's a subscription or something like that. And if that's the case, then, you know, the economics change. Kathleen says, hey, Mike, do you know how to make sure that a missed call to the magic number that is forwarding to the business owner's number doesn't go to the business owner's voicemail? I asked Highlevel and they suggest the change. Yeah. So yeah, Kathleen, I was doing this for a while too. Yep. So Kathleen is asking about the missed call text back service that I have structured in Highlevel for people, which is just an awesome service, by the way. Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to go into Twilio, Kathleen, and in Twilio, you want to change the, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Is that right? It's been a while since I've done this. Let me just check real quick. If it's in Twilio or if it's in, it might actually be in here. Hold on one second. Yeah, right here, actually, Kathleen. So yeah, it's actually here in Highlevel. So if you go into settings, go into phone numbers, go in and edit the phone number. And yeah, you want to change that to 30 seconds is a safe number to make sure that that doesn't happen here. Okay. Yep, you bet. Oh, I wasn't sharing my screen. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Let me share my screen. Sorry. So just for everybody's benefit, I think Kathleen is familiar enough with it, but I want to make sure everybody sees. Here in Highlevel, go to settings, go to phone numbers. You're going to have a phone number here. Click on edit, call timeout, setting, change that to 30 seconds. Okay. That should make it okay. Obviously test it, Kathleen, and see, but that should be good. Yeah, you bet, Sonny. Jimmy says, does that system also let them know what the phone number was that called? Yes, Jimmy, absolutely. Yeah, this is a really attractive service offering because it captures, you capture the phone number too. Okay, so if you go to, let's see here, I don't really get phone number, I don't really get calls on these accounts because I don't publish the numbers for phone calls. But if you were to get let's see here, let me go back into screen share. So Jimmy, in here, if you were to get a missed call, you can see like down here. So that is a captured number, right? So I can respond now back to that number with an SMS, and I can do that automatically. So that's how that happens, which is it's sweet. I mean, that's a killer service to offer small businesses. Such a big opportunity. Yeah, it's a bit of badassery for sure, Jamie. The cool thing is, I mean, because all the phone capabilities here are built off of Twilio, you can take advantage of so many cool things that, it is a bit of badassery. And it's just, I mean, talk about a brilliant, I don't know if you saw, Jimmy, the stats that I shared on that service, but it's like 60% of phone calls to small businesses go unanswered. That's insane, 60%. So think about the opportunities for additional revenue that you can capture for a small business when they're missing 60% of their phone calls. And then the 60% or the 40% that are getting picked up, think about what percentage of those are actually getting any sort of follow-up. I mean, it's embarrassing, right? So, I mean, if you build any of that system in automatically here, it is unbelievable the impact that you can have on a small business. Richard, and it's, a lot of businesses don't like making money. It's wild. So I'll tell you, like right down here from my apartment, my apartment complex is like this, it's this nice complex. There's restaurants and stuff down below. There's a couple of restaurants down there that are owned by some of the most successful, restaurant teams here in the city. And one of them down there, I continue to boycott just because they piss me off so bad because of how bad they are at the blocking and tackling. Like I love the restaurant business, and I used to work in restaurants, in college and all that type of stuff. I just love the industry. Like I could go work in that industry today and be perfectly happy. But you go into this place and it's like dirty rags, sitting around where everybody can see them, just like the most common sense no-nos of running a restaurant, right? And then here we are in this struggling economy, right? And they open back up for business, for takeout orders and stuff like that. So first of all, I get on their website to do a takeout order, couldn't find a phone number if your life depended on it. And then I finally track down the phone number and give them a call. Nobody answers, and they don't have any voicemail set up or anything like that. So I literally call this restaurant like 4 times to try and place an order to support them, and just can't reach anybody, can't leave a voicemail, can't order online. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, how are you running a business like that where, it's like just such common sense and they're just paying no attention to it? It's super frustrating. So it's a very powerful service you can offer. Let's hear it. Kathleen says, one of the super techie guys in the high-level community for restaurants is sending a text saying, sorry, we missed you. If you want to go jump to the front line to order, go here. Yeah, that's awesome. Super easy to do, Kathleen, right? Super easy to do. Richard said that's bizarre and higher end area. If I was a place of business, I would do everything and anything to keep a customer and get them to come back. Yeah, especially right now. Exactly. That's why it is such a powerful service and such a good opportunity. I also saw, I took a picture of it and then I didn't share it because I felt mean, but there's this business downstairs here that invested in these pretty expensive signs to put out on the street to say that they were back open for business. If you visit the buildings, if you are on the second floor or third floor of the building, if you're a business on the second or third floor of these buildings, you can't see where the business is. Like you have to go in there, you have to take an elevator or take the stairs up and like know where to go to actually find the business, right? So they put up these expensive signs everywhere saying they're back open for business, had no phone number on them, had no URL on them, and had no directions as to where they are in the complex. So there was nothing like saying, you know, hey, go to the second floor suite, 400 or whatever, like suite 200. There's literally nothing. So they invested in these signs that, like I said, were pretty expensive signs popped up everywhere and don't have any of that information on the signs to direct people as to how to actually find them and do business with them. It's pretty crazy how much you can help businesses with stuff like this. And giving them those smart numbers, the smart numbers, I think, are quite possibly the most valuable thing that you can give a business right now, a small business. It really is. Yeah, it's true. There's very little marketing sense out there. Cool. What other questions do you have? We're 38 minutes into it. Let me know any other questions that you have. Patrick says, I've taken time to ID a new niche that I'm excited about. It meets most of the criteria. I had one client in this niche several years ago, but provided traffic services only, not some of the high-level services I want to incorporate now. I'm going to call and interview 2 providers I've used. Any other suggestions to get more info or feedback to dial in my signature system? Yeah, Patrick, unmute if you wouldn't mind. Let's chat about it.
Sure. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
So the 2 niches that I have had most recently are B2B niches, and one of them got hammered by the virus. They serve restaurants, and it's not that I guess I was passionate about it, but I have a background in B2B offline sales is what drew me to that. And I kind of want to do a B2C market. I'd say I'm more excited about this one. I know the gold is in knowing their business well enough to know what they need, right? But I've never had a business in this industry, but I'm excited about it. I don't even mind sharing the niche. I know there's risk sharing that, but I don't care. All these people, there's plenty out there. If that helps to tell you what the niche is, I don't mind.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. Go for it. Yeah. Any details you can give me is great.
Yeah. So just looking at the criteria, something be fun to me that I've always played around with is just the home audio visual home automation market. Those companies they provide a lot of services from security to cameras to home automation to your appliances, audio visual, a lot of upgrades into Sonos and stuff like that. And it's also a niche that meets the size criteria. I think they have the industry associations and all of that, but they're also very fragmented. There aren't a lot of national players, in each market. So like I could envision going to each city and making the offers like I've done in one of my other B2B niches and added customer base that way.
I think it's a great market.
I'm transitioning in 2 ways. I primarily in the past only offered, traffic services and mistakenly call myself an agency, which I'm not. I'm really not. That always felt false to me, and you justified that. But also I'm transitioning to really recognizing the value of what Highlevel offers, like you just mentioned, and the ability of a chat, a review, those kind of things, as opposed to, in my mind, I've always viewed, PPC or SEO, and I'm on that track a little slower than most, but I'm trying to figure out how I would dial in this niche and get more feedback to come up with my signature system and an offer that would really give them value, all in the services at scale model, not an agency model.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the best way, and maybe this is what you're referring to when you said, I plan on, what is it? Want to interview 2 providers I've used. Are you referring to like some white label service providers, or are you talking about like people in that industry?
Yeah, sorry, no, the people in that industry. I had one company come about a year ago and upgrade speakers. We have in about 7 or 8, rooms in the house. I mean, outside, I don't mean 7, 8 rooms, but, extras, all over. They did an upgrade on the audio video. And then I have another company that has done my security for years, but when you go to their websites, really, they all offer the same, menu of services. They're all going after all of that. So calling those guys.
Yeah, so I think absolutely give them a call and interviewing them and ask them what their biggest challenges are and all that good stuff, I think is a fantastic idea that can only help. I also think, though, that one of the nice things about, like, let's say the R4 framework, right, is that if you just think about the challenges that every small business has, you can pretty much identify a suite of services that are going to work for that business no matter what, right? You can be sure that anybody that's buying those, those kind of higher end services is doing a reputation like search, right? They're going to do research to find out, hey, what do other people think about these before I invest $25,000 in somebody coming and setting up my custom speaker setup or whatever. So reputation, reach, which you already know, right? Traffic, how do I get more of an audience, more leads, more prospects, all that good stuff. Doing referral, based strategies, right? So how do I get more referrals coming in? All of those, that basic framework it applies to every type of business, right? Yeah. So my bet is that in that industry, you could just stack up that structure, and as long as you've got a service package that addresses each of those R's, it's going to be successful, and it's going to be well received in that market. They may have what I would be super interested in knowing is, in that industry, is there any established like CRM that industry is using? Because there may be somebody that, from a software perspective, is already trying to address for that market some of these challenges. And so if everybody in the industry is like, oh yeah, we all use this system, then it would be good to kind of like really study, well, what are the pros and cons of that system, and kind of build around that, right? So that way you can really kind of tackle some of those challenges head on.
Okay, well, I'm going to have those interviews before next week, just for an accountability here. I've got revenue from these other niches, but I'm ready to get out of B2B, so that's real helpful. One quick question: in the high level suite of offering, is the review service that they provide right now pretty much the one they offer that you would think hits the spot for reputation, or do they have others that you would think falls in the category of reputation?
Well, I think so. In the category of reputation, I think that there's a lot you can do, and it's a place that is changing right now. It's pretty dynamic, that space, because Google has started taking a harder line on publishing reviews and stuff like that. So I think that with any business, what you can do in high level is you can have a review collection process and a process for encouraging collection of those reviews. And then how you then use them for that customer in their marketing is up to you. One of the ways that you can use them is trying to publish them, for the search engines and stuff like that. But that's just one way that you can use them. Like I said, that in particular is going through a lot of changes right now. But high level has, and Kathleen says, Patrick, I think you're going to need a more robust reputation piece. And so that's the thing.
I've integrated what they have with about 5 of my current clients, and it's working great for them what they have, because they just really B2B. They didn't have a lot of reviews, and it was a nice add-on, but I'll take that advice and look at that.
Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, the cool thing is there's lots of, one of the things that's great about the Highlevel community is there's lots of people out there trying to solve these problems, right? So somebody's developed something that's sophisticated enough that you can probably maximize what you're doing with it.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And then the other one, the R I forgot to mention was, resell, which in that industry, following up with customers and continuing to put, the different service options in front of them, it's just like such a no-brainer, right? Because there's so much money in those services that just by staying in front of people on a regular basis with some campaigns, that's a huge opportunity for you.
And just like the restaurants, the couple I've used have never reached back out to me, and I spent some decent cash with them. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable to me, and most of that is like it's a cost and a hassle issue for the restaurants, right? Like I've worked in restaurants before. The general manager of the restaurant is like, I don't have time to do like marketing campaigns. Like, so if you're a small independent restaurant, you're either relying on a PR firm, or or if you're a part of a bigger company chain, that headquarters does all the marketing for you, so you don't have to think about it. You just have to run your restaurant. If you're a small independent restaurant, taking the time and having the knowledge on how to do marketing is like a whole different beast. Like you're just trying to get food, hot onto the tables at the right time and all that type of stuff and fill your seats. So if you put together just a super simple text service that is reaching back out to people where it's like, hey, it's been a month since you were last in here. We'd love to see you back. Ask for, Rob when you come in, and we're going to make sure and give you, the best table, or we've got this, bottle of wine set aside for you, or whatever the heck it is. Like showing people some touch and some follow up. It's just a no-brainer in that field, but it's difficult if you rely on them to do it. But if you create campaigns that do that and you do it via text because it's so dang affordable and so high response, it's a massive opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see here. Richard says, can we talk about optimization a little bit? Now that my webinar and ads and funnels and everything is all live, that's awesome, Richard. I've got to slow down long enough to take a look at them. When and how do I begin optimizing that whole process? Okay, cool. Absolutely. So this is a great question. Let me actually, so on that note, let me share my screen, because one of the things I was going to share with you guys was just sharing, for those of you kind of following along with the local attention engine ad process, I just want to share with you some updates on that. So if you're not familiar with this process, it's just a 4-phase process that I have for testing my ads. Phase 1, I'm testing messages. Phase 2, I'm testing images. Phase 3, I'm testing audiences. Phase 4, I'm scaling, okay? So I've been demonstrating this through a live set of ads and campaigns here, that when I started this process, my cost per click was somewhere in the $1.35 range. Okay, I took an ad that I thought was it's a well-written ad, good image, all that type of stuff. Launched it. It's been doing well for me, but it's about $1.35 cost per click. So phase 1, tested some messaging, found some better producing headlines. Phase 2, tested some images, found some better producing images. I now combine those. And now in phase 3, I'm testing audiences to get more response to what I know now is a winning message and images. And just wanted to show you, look at the results here for the last couple of days. So this is today's results, but it's super similar for the last couple of days. I just launched these like 48 hours ago. Look at my clicks now. Across the entire campaign for phase 3, it's only 48 cents. So I've dropped from about $1.35 a click to 48 cents a click. Okay, that's a massive change, a massive advantage for me now in my advertising. And you can see here, I'm getting as low as 27-cent clicks here, 49.50. So you can bet I'm going to be putting more money into this 27-cent click audience here and growing this out. And that's what phase 4 is about. It's about scaling. So this goes back to Richard's question. Okay, how do I start optimizing? Okay. And the way I was actually talking to Rob, who's on the call, I was talking to him this morning about this. The way I think about, business is you've got a process, right? And Richard, you have now a process for running ads to get people to a webinar. Okay. Get people registered for a webinar. You've now got to get them to show up on that webinar. You've got to get them through the pitch. You got to get them to hear the pitch. You got to get them to get to the purchase button, right? And make the sale. Okay. Every one of those things is a step that can be measured and optimized. Okay. I'm a big believer in the theory of constraints approach to optimizing a system or optimizing any process is that you look for the place that has the biggest bottleneck, you optimize that first, and then you move on to the next place that has the biggest bottleneck, right? So in other words, you're going to go through your whole sales process. Step one is I've got to get people to click on the ad. So is my click-through rate appropriate? It should be at least X%. If it's not, then that may be a place to optimize, right? Second is getting people to register. Is my registration percentage high enough? Third is getting them to attend the webinar. Okay, is that percentage high enough? Fourth is, so we just keep on following that along. So we've got to make sure that you've got a tracking spreadsheet, daily scorecard, that's got each of those things so that every single day you're tracking the data in that process to see how are we doing each step of the way. Okay. So then after you've got enough data coming in there, and this is important, you've got to invest enough to get enough eyeballs through there to make sure that you're actually working with reasonable data. And we talked about this before, Richard, with the e-com stuff, right? Sometimes we don't want to be patient enough to get the data, but we've got to invest to get the data. Otherwise we're not making good decisions. And then we're going to then look at that data and go, okay, where is my biggest bottleneck, my biggest constraint? In other words, where are my numbers most off? So your click-through rate may be a little low, but your opt-in rate may be horrible. So we're not going to try and fix both of those things at once. Let's fix our opt-in rate, do some good testing there. And then as soon as we've got that back up to an acceptable range, then let's move on to whatever now is our current worst case, scenario, right? So maybe now it's my click-through rate is now my worst performing thing. So now I'm going to go focus on my ads, and you're just going to systematically continue to go through that process, just constant and never ending, right? Improvement of that process. That's the game. That's the game. So you've got to track the key milestones in that system every single day, put the data in there, get enough data in there to be able to see what's actually working, what's not. And then we just systematically work on optimizing each of those points as we go. Okay? Does that make sense? Richard Stipend, cool. Let's see here. Okay, awesome. And Richard, I'll get you over a spreadsheet for tracking those metrics. It's not easy to put one together, but we put together a nice spreadsheet for doing that. Kathleen says, okay. James says, I know you like these examples, Mike. Just had a call with a client who has done a great job of productizing his services, video production for franchises to create videos to sell their franchise offers to prospective franchisees. Subscription model, average customer is $100K a year. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, James, that's a perfect productized service offering, right? You guys have probably seen the emails that I'm sharing the webinar I'm doing with Ben Atkins this week. That I love the assembly line model around certain things. Like that's an assembly line model. The assembly line around repurposing content is a great assembly line model, super high demand, super high value. I love those examples. So thank you for sharing that with me. And if you want to send me the URL of the company, please do. I'd love to take a look at it. All right, 1:55. We've got 5 minutes. We got one more question. Let me know. Type it in here or unmute yourself and fire away, and we'll go for it. Awesome. Thank you, James. So while anybody is thinking about if they have a question to type in, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for this one. And let's check it out. Oop. Share. Sorry, it's not. Let's see if I can. There we go. So this is cool. Monthly videos, driving sales, no US travel fees, one simple annual price. This is awesome. I love this. Yeah. Awesome. They've taken something that's normally like this custom proposals and all this BS and turned it into a super simple service that is absolutely productized, scalable. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, James, for sharing that. I'm going to share that with the world so that they can see it's a perfect example. I love the examples the best where they take something that normally people associate with a lot of like creativity. Like, I couldn't possibly turn this into a productized service because every video is different, and every client is different, and blah, 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 blah. And it's total BS. It's just lazy thinking. You can absolutely take anything and turn it into a productized service. Are there aspects inside of that productized service process where you have to leave room for the creativity? Of course. Right? Of course, because not everything is boilerplate, but you can still put as much boundaries and structures and constraints around the overall process to make it easy to understand, easy to sell, easy to deliver. So that's a fantastic example. Thank you. I know, isn't that amazing? What's amazing is that word productized caused so much controversy in the ad, and then it's so amazing to see the people that when you show them, hey, it's an actual word. I mean, it's a real word in the dictionary. Like some people, they just refuse to acknowledge. Like, well, it doesn't mean that it's a word that should be used. Like people get all hot and bothered about it. It's so funny. I love arguing with people about stuff like that. Like I know there's so many people on their ads that would never get into arguing with people on their ads. And I'm like, no, forget that. We're going to have this conversation right here publicly. Awesome. All right, gang. Well, we are at the hour. Doesn't look like there's any other questions. If there are, you know how to reach me inside of the Facebook group. So please post your questions there if you have any, and I'm glad to help. As well, for Growth Insiders members, we've got a call tomorrow, and then Thursday for Services That Scale Mastermind members, we've got a call there on Thursday as well. So you've got plenty of opportunity to get a hand if you need anything. Just go ahead and post or come on one of those calls and let me know, okay? Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate your time, your business. Have a great rest of your day. Get after it, and we will talk to you soon, all right? See you, everybody. Bye-bye.